And as everyone on Twitter, or at least the vast majority of people that were recommending I do a top 10 list, I started reflecting on how much I hate doing top 10 lists and why. And as I don't want to do a top 10 list, here are, in no particular order, my top 5 reasons why I won't do a top 10 list. Top 10 lists are an oversaturated market. Now, every year we're inundated with top 10 lists. Angry Joe is a perfect example of such phenomena. Top 10 best games of the year, top 10 worst games of the year, top 10 biggest disappointments of the year, top 10 controversies of the year, and so on and so on and so on. And normally, when you look at all of these channels that are doing similar lists, between 8 and 10 of the games on the top 10 list are exactly the same with little to no variation. It's a similar effect to what we see with traditional games journalism sites. One smaller site, more often than not an intern, writes a story that some YouTuber already covered somewhere else. Then all of the major publications pick it up and regurgitate what all of the others say in a predictable and repetitive fashion. In December and January, you can't kick a rock without hitting 5 top 10 videos on YouTube, and they're just so overdone that they really just don't feel worth it when there are so many other channels doing the exact same thing. Top 10 lists are extremely time-consuming to record. Now, each top 10 list, from a standpoint of a YouTuber, can be exceedingly difficult to record. The reason being is obviously due to the fact that a proper rendition of a top 10 list will be significantly longer than a normal video, giving proper time and attention to each slot on the list. It requires an increased amount of time to edit, both in sheer length of the video and in the fact that, one would guess, 10 separate topics are being discussed. Oh, I know that there are those YouTubers that produce a top 10 list that dedicate no more than a minute to an individual topic, but that is your typical shallow content that provides nothing at all meaningful in any way. And while I myself cannot stand producing top 10 lists, I do respect those that dedicate the amount of time and energy necessary to do it right. The countdown sequences. Aren't those sequences annoying? Admit it, you know I'm right. Hell, you've been subjected to 3 of them now in this video alone, and they're typically just terrible. They're horrendous. Also, most channels don't even know how to balance their audio, so those sequences always end up being either impossible to hear, or they're so goddamn loud that they blast your eardrums clean through your head if you're one of those unfortunate people that happen to be wearing headphones. So please, take it from someone who is using those god-awful countdown sequences in this very video. Don't do it. Use a lower third and a verbal transition. It's much cleaner, it's more professional, and it won't run the risk of causing your viewers permanent physical and psychological damage due to a perforated eardrum. Now, cover your ears. We're moving on to the next one. Re-recording and re-editing content. When you're spending a proper amount of time editing and piecing together your top 10 list, you also have to go back through your old videos of those games. For someone like me, that's not necessarily a difficult thing to do. I save the originals of every single video in a RAID-protected NAS that is also archived to the cloud. However, what you discuss in a top 10 segment is very different than the game review.